Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for holding a hearing on this very important topic, one that I know is particularly pressing for many small businesses in both of our districts and all throughout the country. The Environmental Protection Agency will soon make a decision on how to regulate coal combustion byproducts, CCBs. EPA offered two regulatory options for classification of CCBs under the Resource Conservation and Recovery Act. It is my belief that classification as a hazardous waste under Subtitle C would be a disaster to the small businesses that recycle CCBs. Some CCBs have industrial uses, while others are essentially waste byproducts. One of the most useful CCBs is coal fly ash, which is a fine, powdery CCB produced by coal-fired electricity generators. Coal fly ash is incorporated into concrete. Montana's Hungry Horse Dam, completed in 1953, was one of the first applications in which fly ash was used. Since then, at least 100 major locks and dams using fly ash have been constructed under the direction of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation, or private engineering firms. In light of the CCB spill disaster at the Tennessee Valley Authority Kingston's facility, I understand EPA is raising concerns about the handling and storage of CCBs. We all want appropriate precautions to be taken for the public health and welfare to be protected. However, slapping a hazardous label on fly ash and other CCBs without sound scientific evidence almost surely will eliminate their ability to be used in a beneficial manner by industry. Such a designation also will impose severe financial hardship on an industry dominated by small businesses employing tens of thousands of people throughout the United States, including my home state of Missouri. According to EPA's own analysis, approximately 13.4 million tons of coal ash are used in concrete or cement production annually. EPA maintains that the regulation of their uses will not be changed, so the agency did not examine what effects would result on the recyclers because of the proposed rule. But the hazardous designation could kill ash recycling enterprises that generate $5 to $10 billion a year in revenue for coal-burning utilities. In addition to the revenue lost, generators of CCBs would have to find a place for 60 million tons that now fill abandoned mines, incorporate into concrete, or shore up eroding highway banks. Should EPA decide a hazardous waste management regime is necessary, the CCBs would quickly overwhelm the capacity of currently available hazardous waste landfills. A hazardous designation would raise the cost of coal ash disposal from $5 or $10 a ton to $150 per ton, a total of 10 to 15 billion more per year. Nor would that situation be helped by the recycling of CCBs. To the extent that regulations, especially under Subtitle C, impose additional costs to generators, they will pass those costs on to the beneficial users of CCBs. Increased regulation of CCBs would force recyclers to pass increased costs on to consumers, reduce prices to meet those of lower-cost suppliers, or abandon the use of CCBs altogether. A rational producer will ultimately select a third option in an effort to ensure that its competitive position in the marketplace is not damaged. This only will increase pressure on landfills or surface impoundment storage of this waste. During the past 20 years, the EPA has considered whether to determine that CCBs should be hazardous waste, and each time has found they should not. Nothing in the physical or chemical characteristics of these products has changed. What has changed is the fact that surface impoundments regulated under the Clean Water Act containing CCBs failed. That regulatory failure should not result in the regulation of CCBs as a hazardous waste. It is my belief that the designation of fly ash as a hazardous waste is counter to the goal of sustainability or even good for the environment. CCBs increase the durability of the nation's infrastructure, thereby requiring less reconstruction and associated runoff of pollutants from construction sites. Fly ash is commonly accepted and used worldwide, and its use is a key strategy to sustainable construction, reducing hazardous waste disposal needs, and limiting creation of greenhouse gases. CCBs increase the durability of the nation's transportation infrastructure and double its useful life. EPA has not considered any of this in its proposed rule. If EPA continues down this path and resists the call from 121 members of Congress to abandon its preferred course of action, designate CCBs as hazardous wastes, I believe that there will be sufficient bipartisan support to take legislative action to address EPA's regulatory overreach. Again, thank you, Mr. Chairman, for holding this hearing. I look forward to hearing from the witnesses and examining your possible solutions. With that, I yield back.